You know that feeling when you throw a party. Invite everyone, book the DJ, hype it up like it's going to be the event of the year, and then nobody shows up? That's the exact energy radiating from Reebok HQ right now. Except swap out the DJ for Angel Reese. And the empty party? Yeah, that's their entire brand revival strategy collapsing in real time. Let's rewind. Not too long ago, Reebok was plotting a major comeback. The once iconic sportswear giant. If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe. Long overshadowed by Nike's dominance and Adidas' cool factor, decided it was time to shake things up. And their big move? Signing Angel Reese. Yep, the Angel Reese, college basketball's most talked about name. Fresh off a whirlwind NCAA championship run with LSU, viral celebrations, and that unapologetic you can't see me attitude. She had the charisma, the headlines, the controversy, the buzz. And Reebok? They were desperate for exactly that. Oh, and let's not forget, this wasn't just any endorsement. This was a Shaquille O'Neal back deal. Shaq, the man, the myth, the guy who's been collecting side hustles like infinity stones, was now steering Reebok's basketball division. And Angel Reese was his first major signing. The move was pitched as symbolic. A female athlete leading Reebok's renaissance. A disruptor representing a new generation of talent, confidence, and culture. But here's where it gets messy. Because almost immediately after the ink dried, the cracks began to show. On the court, Reese struggled. We're talking missed layups, shaky defense, air balls that got more airtime than her press photos. And yes, every single one of those moments was clipped, looped, and meme-ified on Twitter, TikTok, and everywhere in between. The internet's not just undefeated. It's relentless. And while the world laughed or cringed, Reebok had to sit back and watch their shiny new face of basketball become an unwilling comedy reel. Meanwhile, across the court and absolutely thriving, Caitlin Clark was rewriting record books, breaking scoring records, carrying her team, showing up with the poise and performance of a seasoned pro. The contrast? Brutal. Clark was the picture of consistency and excellence. Reese? She was making headlines, sure, but mostly for the wrong reasons. So now you've got this uncomfortable visual. Reebok bet the house on a player who can't make a layup, while Nike's Golden Girl is out here dunking on everyone metaphorically and occasionally literally. It's giving we backed the wrong horse, and no amount of flashy shoe designs or brand buzzwords is covering that up. The timing couldn't have been worse either. Reese's WNBA team, the Chicago Sky, started tanking. Losses piled up, and then, just to really twist the knife, Reese got injured. So not only is your star athlete underperforming, but now she's not even playing. That's like your lead actor bailing halfway through a movie shoot. What's left? Behind-the-scenes footage and an awkward press tour. And speaking of press tours, the marketing wasn't helping. Reebok launched a campaign with all the pomp and polish of a corporate rebrand. Sleek promos, interviews hyping up Reese's impact, and promises of changing the game. But no matter how many times they said empowerment and next-gen leadership, the receipts were piling up in the form of blooper compilations. People weren't buying it, literally or figuratively. Because here's the thing. In sports, performance is a product. No matter how marketable you are, how many followers you have, or how many influencers wear your gear, if you can't deliver when the buzzer sounds, your credibility crumbles. Fast. Reebok's leadership, especially Shaq, clearly believed in Reese's potential. But potential doesn't sell shoes. Results do. And the brutal reality is that Reese hasn't brought results, at least not the kind you want on highlight reels. And it doesn't help that every time she misses a shot, someone tweets it with Reebok's marketing budget cry in the club. Ouch! It's not just bad PR, it's permanent PR. The internet doesn't forget. And when your athlete's most viral moments involve stumbling on a fast break or bricking uncontested layups, that's branding you can't buy your way out of. Now, let's take a moment to talk about the sheer disconnect between hype and reality here. Reebok tried to manufacture a cultural moment. Young, brash, unapologetic athlete gets a massive platform to lead a brand revival, but they skipped a crucial step: vetting if the on-court product could back it up. They confuse viral energy with lasting star power. And unfortunately, that gamble has exploded like a pair of poorly laced sneakers mid-game. Imagine the marketing meetings now. The scramble. The PowerPoint slides titled Reese Recovery Plan or Pivot Strategies Q4. You just know someone in a panic pitched a TikTok dance campaign to distract from the losses. And somewhere, a very tired PR manager is trying to convince themselves that all press is good press. But no amount of spin can save a misaligned brand deal. Not when the athlete you've tied your wagon to is getting roasted in real time by basketball fans, casual viewers, and even late-night comedians. The memes are faster than the fact-checkers. And Reebok? They're stuck in the crossfire of a deal that was supposed to be inspirational, but now feels borderline embarrassing. There's also the looming question of Shaq's role in all this. He co-signed the whole thing, pitched it as a game changer, put his legacy and his reputation as a basketball business mogul behind Reese. But now, that co-sign looks less like a smart business move and more like a reckless gamble. Was it loyalty? Was it hype? Either way, it wasn't foresight. Because here's the ironic part. This was supposed to be a legacy move. For Reebok, for Shaq, even for Reese. A chance to cement something powerful, disruptive, memorable. And now, it is memorable, just not in the way anyone hoped. And sure, injuries happen. Players have slumps. But the issue here isn't just performance. It's perception. Reese isn't just struggling. She's becoming a punchline. And when your brand ambassador becomes a trending topic for all the wrong reasons, your campaign isn't just failing. It's actively damaging your brand. So what now? Reebok can't exactly backtrack without looking worse. They can't pivot to someone else without acknowledging the flop. And they definitely can't keep pretending everything's fine when the basketball world is collectively side-eyeing the whole ordeal. They're stuck in a branding purgatory. And unless Reese makes a miraculous comeback, both physically and in terms of performance, their options are limited to ride it out or rebrand again. And let's be real, a third pivot isn't exactly confidence-inspiring. In the end, this whole saga is a masterclass in what not to do in sports marketing. Don't chase clout over consistency. Don't bet on hype without performance. And never let your brand's identity hinge on someone who hasn't proven they can carry it. Because now Reebok's comeback is less phoenix rising from the ashes and more bird flies into window. If there's a fake award for most dramatic corporate faceplant disguised as empowerment, Reebok just won it in a landslide. Congrats. Maybe put it next to the unsold sneakers. As for Angel Reese, time will tell. Maybe she turns it around. Maybe she silences the haters and redeems the deal. Sports are wild like that. But right now, she's less of a brand leader and more of a cautionary tale in the making. And Reebok, they better have a plan B or a plan C, because whatever plan this was, it's burning fast and loud. So what do you think? Did Reebok get swept up in hype? Was this just bad timing or a fundamental misread of the moment? Drop your takes in the comments and let us know if this is a flop, a fumble, or a full-blown fashion disaster. And if you want more messy meltdowns and branding catastrophes served hot, make sure you're subscribed. Because trust us, this isn't the last time a big brand makes a big bet and goes bust. Because the truth is, in today's media circus, hype is cheap. Hype is everywhere. But credibility? That's the currency brands are actually starving for. And Reebok, God bless them, they bet their whole redemption arc on the wrong kind of currency. They chose noise over nuance, clout over consistency, and now they're paying the price in the most public, humiliating way possible. And here's where it really starts to hurt. Reebok didn't just gamble on a player, they gambled on a narrative. The comeback kid, the unapologetic queen, the new face of women's basketball, the cultural moment. They wanted all of that to be Angel Reese. The problem? The story wasn't ready to be told yet. They tried to write the legend before the chapters were lived. And the result? A plot twist nobody asked for. Picture it. Execs in overpriced sneakers huddled in a marketing war room, pacing around, asking if they should lean into the memes or reframe the message. Do they pivot to the empowerment angle harder? Do they release a new colorway and hope people forget the L's on the scoreboard? It's like watching someone try to patch a sinking boat with designer tape. Sure, it's aesthetic, but you're still sinking. Meanwhile, the fans aren't stupid. They're watching the games. They're seeing the stats. They're watching the highlight reels where the only thing getting lit up is Angel Reese by opposing players blowing passer on defense. And yet, Reebok keeps pushing the same narrative. Trailblazer, disruptor, icon. Those words mean something, but only when they're earned. Otherwise, they're just buzzwords slapped on a press release that aged worse than milk. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about rooting for someone's downfall. No one wants to see a young athlete flop, especially one who clearly has charisma, ambition, and the kind of media presence most rookies would kill for. But brands have to be smarter. You don't throw someone to the wolves with $1 million campaign unless you're sure they can outrun them. And right now, Angel Reese is getting eaten alive out there. It's not just missed shots, it's missed moments, missed expectations, missed chances to own the spotlight, rather than trend for the wrong reasons. Meanwhile, Reebok's silence is deafening. No statement, no adjustment, just a quiet, awkward wait-and-see strategy as the public opinion needle keeps nosediving. And let's talk about social media, because that is where this saga has taken on a life of its own. Every blooper, viral in 10 minutes. Every bad stat, screenshot, cropped, quote tweeted, and turned into an entire discourse thread. The memes? Relentless. At this point, you'd think Angel Reese invented the turnover. And the worst part for Reebok? They can't control the narrative anymore. The internet already wrote it for them. You can't outmarket a meme. You can't PR spin a low shooting percentage. And you definitely can't slap a motivational quote on a performance that's trending for all the wrong reasons. So now, Reebok is caught in a vortex. Every time they try to promote Angel Reese, it reignites the discourse. Every new post becomes a lightning rod. It's no longer about the shoes. It's about why they're still trying to sell us a storyline no one's buying. And while this PR storm rages, let's spare a thought for the poor interns running Reebok's social channels. You know they're out here dodging ratio after ratio, like it's the Matrix. Every post is a battlefield. Every sneaker promo is a comment section war zone. You got fans asking for refunds, critics dissecting her stats, and trolls posting screenshots of missed layups like it's performance art. At this point, the Reebok x Angel Reese campaign should be studied in marketing classes, not as a case of innovation, but as a masterclass in overestimating clout and underestimating consequences. Because let's face it, this isn't just a bad campaign. It's a contagious one. A moment so off base, it's dragging everyone associated with it into the mud. Shaq, side-eyed. The Sky, stressed. The sneaker drops, DOA. And the brand, bleeding credibility like it's a contact sport. You can feel the desperation in every pivot. She's a cultural force. She's redefining the game. Sure, but can she win the game? Because that's kind of the whole point when you're anchoring a basketball comeback. And let's be real. If Reebok had waited even 6 months, this could have looked completely different. Give her time to develop. Let her find her rhythm in the WNBA. But no, they wanted a headline now. They wanted a splashy launch, not a slow build. And now they're drowning in the aftermath. It's giving fast fame, faster fallout. Now, does this mean Angel Reese's career is over? Not at all. She's still young. She could bounce back. She has a charisma, the following, the media savvy. But the damage to the brand alignment, that's going to be a lot harder to fix. Because now, every future Reebok athlete has to live in the shadow of this misstep. Every deal will be scrutinized. Every announcement will be met with, remember what happened with Angel Reese? That's not just bad optics. That's legacy damage. And this ripple effect isn't just hitting Reebok. It's sending a message across the entire sports marketing landscape. Hype alone does not carry a campaign, especially not in the age of highlight reels, real-time stats, and ruthless Twitter fingers. Brands are now on notice. If your athlete can't back it up on the court of public opinion will bury you. Let's pause here and just acknowledge the insanity of it all. A shoe deal, a well-meaning brand comeback, a promising athlete. And in just a few months, it all unraveled. Publicly, loudly, dramatically, almost like the universe was trying to stage a Greek tragedy, sponsored by Reebok. And if you think this chaos is just a passing moment, think again. This kind of reputational damage lingers. It lives on in Google results, YouTube reactions, and a million TikTok stitches. The algorithm never forgets. You can repackage the shoes. You can relaunch the ads. But you can't erase the perception. So what's the lesson here? Don't mistake a viral moment for a movement. Don't throw your entire brand weight behind an athlete still figuring out their footing. And definitely don't underestimate the power of the internet to turn your $1 million campaign into a punchline overnight. This whole saga should be framed and hung in the Reebok boardroom with the title, The High Price of Hype. Because while Angel Reese may still have time to reclaim her narrative Reebok, they just learned the hard way that no amount of sleek design or shack-size endorsements can save a campaign built on shaky ground. At the end of the day, fans want authenticity. They want results. And most of all, they want to root for someone who earns it, not just someone who trends. So yeah, maybe this isn't the end of Angel Reese. Maybe it's just the beginning of her redemption arc. But Reebok, they're going to need more than hope and hashtags to climb out of this branding black hole. Because when the shoes are off, the lights are dimmed, and the memes have settled, the only thing left standing is the truth. And the truth is, this was a flop. A loud, messy, avoidable flop. Because here's the real kicker. Reebok didn't just embarrass themselves. They embarrassed us. The viewers. The fans. The believers who thought maybe, just maybe, this time would be different. That a legacy brand could make a real, earned comeback. That Angel Reese could rise beyond the NCAA highlight reel and actually redefine the game at the pro level. But what we got instead? A corporate fever dream dressed up as empowerment, crashing headfirst into the hardwood. It didn't have to be this way. Reebok could have played the long game, built slowly, focused on grassroots development, niche credibility, actual basketball performance. They could have highlighted lesser-known players grinding in the league or doubled down on community-first marketing that didn't hinge on a single polarizing figure. But no, they went with a fast-forward button. Slapped together a hype-driven campaign with zero patience, maximum risk, and assumed the audience would eat it up like it's 2012 Tumblr, and we're all still falling for girl boss montages with zero substance. Spoiler, we're not. We've been through enough corporate empowerment storylines to recognize when something's built on spin, not substance. And it was painfully obvious that Reebok didn't think this through past the initial announcement. The moment Angel Reese's stats started dipping, they should have pivoted, soft-launched a new campaign thread, diversified the faces of their relaunch. But instead, radio silence. Like if they just stopped tweeting about it. We'd all forget the face of the brand was trending every other week for falling down during warm-ups. And let's be honest here, we were all kind of rooting for Reese in the beginning. She brought spice to a game that's too often diluted for the sake of respectability. She had personality, fire, and just the right amount of villain arc energy to get people watching. But basketball is a reality show. The drama has to be backed by skill. Otherwise, it's just empty theater. The sad part is, Reebok didn't just set Reese up to fail. They tied her brand failure to theirs. So now everybody loses. Reese's reputation takes a hit because people think she was overhyped, overpaid, and underprepared. Reebok's credibility nosedives because it looks like they either didn't do their homework or didn't care. And us, we're left watching a brand implode in slow motion, like a train wreck. You can't stop watching because somehow it keeps getting worse. Let's not forget how the WNBA audience plays into this. These fans are smart, passionate, detail-obsessed. They know the game. You can't sell them a fantasy with flashy trailers and think they won't fact-check your star player's free throw percentage by halftime. The second Reese started trending for the wrong reasons, the very audience Reebok was trying to impress started turning on them. Because authenticity isn't optional in sports, it's everything, especially in women's sports, where every moment is a battle for legitimacy and respect. Instead of amplifying a genuinely earned story, Reebok tried to manufacture one in a lab. It's like they looked at Angel Reese's viral college moment, slapped a marketing plan together in a weekend, and just hoped. They hoped it would ride the wave, that we wouldn't notice the missing parts, that if they yelled game change enough times, it would become true. But this isn't college ball. This is the WNBA. And in the big leagues, there are no shortcuts. No amount of glittery branding can distract from air balls and DMPs. Performance is the only narrative that holds weight. And when it's not there, everything else crumbles. Now here we are in the aftermath. The campaign has cooled, the buzz has curdled, and the comments have gotten mean. Every new Reebok post, whether it's about Reese or not, is flooded with fans asking if they can exchange their sneakers for some consistency. Or worse, asking if Reebok is still in business. It's turned into a brand roast, and honestly, the jokes write themselves. Reebok's official account could post a picture of shoelaces, and someone would reply, "Are these laces good for tying up all your bad decisions?" And it's not just the brand suffering. This has become personal for Reese. Her name is being dragged in conversations she doesn't even deserve to be in. Every performance is now seen through the lens of her endorsement deal. Every missed shot becomes a metaphor for failure. Every injury, every benching, is recast as a symbol of corporate miscalculation. She didn't ask for that. She didn't design this campaign. She didn't greenlight those press quotes. But now she's the face of a meltdown she didn't engineer, but can't escape. And maybe that's the darkest part of all this. Reebok used her to chase relevance, and now they've tied her to their failure. Even if she bounces back, even if she goes on career best run next season, there will always be that whisper, "Remember the Reebok flop?" You don't just erase that from the internet. And what's Reebok doing to fix it? Nothing visible. No public accountability. No acknowledgement of missteps. They've gone full ghost mode. Like if they don't say anything, we'll all just move on. But here's a fun fact. The silence is louder than any ad campaign. It tells us everything. It tells us they weren't prepared. It tells us they're embarrassed. It tells us they thought they could fake their way through a comeback. And now, they don't know what to do. Meanwhile, other brands are watching this unfold like a cautionary tale on live TV. Somewhere at Nike HQ, there's probably a "Don't Reebok This" PowerPoint being passed around with bullet points like "Vet your athletes, time your launches," and "Don't confuse controversy with competence." This whole mess will be studied for years. The deal that was supposed to relaunch a legacy brand turned into a masterclass in what happens when you build a campaign on vibes, not vision. And listen, we're not here to gleefully pile on. We're here because this matters. It matters how athletes are positioned. It matters how brands tell stories. It matters when big corporations use people for short-term buzz and bail when things get rocky. Because this didn't have to be a disaster. It could have been thoughtful, strategic, long-term. It could have started small and grown with Reese's game. It could have felt earned. But now, all we got is a blooper reel and a shoe line collecting dust. So what's next? Honestly, Reebok has two options. Either they quietly phase Reese out of the campaign, hoping no one notices a shift, or they double down and try to spin this as a comeback narrative. The hero's journey, the redemption arc, the dramatic pivot from flop to flourish. And that might work if Reese puts up real numbers, if the skies start winning, if the memes cool down long enough for fans to see a new side of her. But even then, it's an uphill climb. Because once a campaign becomes a punchline, clawing your way back to credibility takes more than a heartfelt promo. It takes receipts. And for now, the receipts are brutal. So let this be a lesson, a cautionary tale, and a bit of entertainment for those of us watching from the sidelines. Performance always outlasts PR. The court doesn't lie. And no amount of branding can save a narrative that never had legs to begin with. But hey, if Reebok ever want to launch a line of performance gear for corporate flops and unforced errors, they've got a killer case study.